It's now time to program something interesting, a project like applications, so that you get a feeling like, yay, I can program in WinForms, I can program practical or functional applications, right? So we are going to program a simple calculator using the text boxes. The user will insert number 1, number 2, and the operator in the text boxes, and the program will calculate the result. So let's start the development. This is our form. The title of the form is bank application. If you remember, we set this title long time ago. So let's remove the title and change it to simple calculator. And now I'm going to drag a label control. Let me just find the label control like this. And here we will put a text, simple calculator. And now I'm going to activate the dock property. I will dock the label to the top like this. And auto size should be false like this. And the text alignment, where's the text alignment? Here's the text alignment in the middle. And now we're going to change the font. Let's make it bigger. Let's say 20 pixels like this. And now we need 3 text boxes for number 1, number 2, and the operator. So let's search for the text box. Here we have a text box. Drag it, set the property of the first text box. Then we can create multiple copies. The name of the first text box is TBX number 1. The font size of the text box is, let's say, 15, and the text alignment is center. And the placeholder is, where is a placeholder property? Here's a placeholder property. Enter number 1. And now we can make copies. This is for number 2. And another copy is for operator. Let's select the first one. Change the name. TBX number 2. And the placeholder is enter number 2. And now select the last text box, the third one. CVX operator. And here we will have a placeholder text like plus, minus, multiplication, or division, right? And now we need a button control in order to calculate the result. This is our button control. Let's put it right here. Adjust the properties. The name of the button is BTM calculate. Increase the font size 13, and the text should be calculate. And finally, we need a label control to show the result. This is our label control. Adjust the properties. The first property we are going to change here is the name LBL result like this. Auto size is false so that we can change the size of our label. And now the text align property should be center, and the text is 0. And of course, the font size. Font size is 13. So this is our application interface. Everything is programmed behind this click event. So let's double click on the button to create the click event. So here we have our click event. First, we are going to read numbers. So we need double types variable. So let's create double variable. Number 1, assign it 0, which is default. Double number 2 and another 0. Sorry, number 2 should be the right name. As you know, the text property here in the text boxes represents the string. So we need to type convert the data from the text representation of numbers to the real numbers. So double, we know use the parse method. And here we will call the text box number 1 and we'll pass the text which is inside the text box. And the same we will do with the second text box. Number 2 of text. You know the parse method from the C sharp. Here we are converting a string representation of numbers into real numbers. But remember one thing here, the parse method is dangerous. It can throw an exception when the data cannot be converted. So instead of parse method, we can also use try parse, which is safer than the parse method. So I think we can enhance the application. We don't want our program to crash, right? So try-parse is the better choice. If the number conversion and the assignment to our local variables goes well, the method will simply return a true value, and we can then process this variable to figure out further. Let's move on. Now, if both the variables, Boolean variables, get the true, that means user provided the correct data. But in case any of the variable gets false value, that means data provided by the user is incorrect. In that case, we will inform the user and stop the execution of the program. Just in order to inform the user, we are changing Boolean false to true. Let's say if the first number provided by the user is incorrect, then the Boolean false is assigned to the OK one, and we are changing false to true so that we come inside the if statement to display a message. And in the if statement, we will simply display a message box to the user like this: incorrect number provided. And right after that, we will simply call the return statement. This return statement will simply stop the execution of the event method. We will not go down further. And now we are going to read the operator sign. Operator sign should be a string value. OPE is the name of the variable, and the text box is tbx operator of text. And we also need to validate the operator sign before we code further. So in an if statement, we can say if the operator sign is not null or empty, then we can process further. We can pass the operator sign in the switch statement like this and can create the cases. The first case is for the plus operator. Let's put the break. And the second case is for the minus operation, break. And the third case should be, let's say, multiplication, break. And the last one should be for the division, break, and the default. And the first break, there should be a colon character, not the semicolon. When the sign is not recognizable, they will display an error in the default section. So we have a results label, and here we can simply insert a text unknown operator. And now inside the each case, you simply do the calculation and display the result mechanically on the form. So in the first case, here we do the addition, number 1 plus number 2. And you remember we need to call the toString method. This is our first operation, simply send. The result is directly sent to the form. Now copy this line of code. This is our subtraction. You just need to change the sign here from addition to subtraction. Now, once again, this is multiplication. Let's change the sign from addition to multiplication. And the last one is division. Let's change the sign from addition to division. And only in the division section, we can get an error or bug because dividing by 0 is not allowed. So before the division, we can check if the denominator, which is variable number 2, is not 0. If it is 0, then we will not allow the division. So in the case, we can, let's say, code an if statement. We will say if number 2 is not equal to 0, that means the division is allowed. We can put it right inside. And then we will code an else statement to display a message box. In the message box, we can say division by 0 is not allowed. And right after that, we will simply empty the number 2 text box so that user can insert a new value here and then call the return statement, which simply terminates the execution of the method right here. So my friends, our application is now completed. Let's run the application and check the output. So here we go. And without providing anything, I click on the calculate. So here come incorrect number provided. Now let's say in the first text box, I have 10. And once again, I try to calculate incorrect number provided. So I must provide numbers in both the text boxes. And in the second text box, I provide 10 as well. And now I need to choose a sign. Now let's say I choose a sign that does not exist in our program. A question mark, calculate, here comes the result, unknown operator. And I need to choose a proper operator. Let's say plus. So here comes 20 minus 0, multiply 10, and divide. The result should be 1. And now I will try to divide by 0. So let's see how does our program react. Click calculate, and here you see division by 0 is not allowed, and now the text box is empty. So I must provide another number other than the 0. Calculate, and here you see the output. So that was an interesting application, simple calculator, and they coded the application without any problem. In our next chapter, we will move on and cover radio button control.